Okay, part 7 of Daring to Dare, chapter 1, Elmira. You know, I want to talk about my elementary school days. I really had pretty much a very good experience. I can remember the first day my mother did get herself out of the house and walked me to school. But of course, not really knowing where she was going, she took me the longest way possible. But she did get me to school, and that was the end. She never walked me again because I knew how to get there. It wasn't long before I realized that there was a shortcut. And I experimented a little bit, and darn if it wasn't a shortcut. And I loved this. Oh, this shortcut was really interesting. It was a pathway from a street that kind of went along, it looked like a mountain. It was really interesting. I mean, when you look down, it seemed steep. And you walk up to this path, and all you see is trees, bushes. Of course, there's a fence, and we're walking on like a stone path. Maybe some of it was concrete. And all of a sudden, you walk up there and whoop, there's the schoolyard of Thomas Mifflin School. It really was a beautiful school. Even back in the day when I looked at that school, I said to myself, this is a nicely built school. Believe it or not, I'm thinking of those things at that time. It was. It really, really was. And the assembly room, it was amazing. I remember singing Joshua and the Wall. And the wall came tumbling down. Boy, we sang that so many times in that auditorium. But I loved it. And of course, you can't sing any religious songs today, which is a pity. That's partly what's wrong with society today. Anyway, that's my opinion. And so I had great teachers. I loved all my teachers, especially Mrs. Harrigan. She was my 5th grade teacher. Oh, I loved that one. She was great. She liked me too. But in 1st grade, we were learning to read. I picked it up. And of course, we learned words first. I was having no problem at all. I was learning words. I knew the letter. I knew everything that was going on. I was reading. And I do a presence of mind of remembering that I was way ahead of everybody. I remember kids were still working on the words that were in the story. And I finished it. I finished that book. And I can remember going on other books and expanding my vocabulary. I'll tell you, I realized, not that I'm pumping feathers, but I realized that I was ahead of everybody. I seemed like it. I mean, maybe there was somebody else, but I didn't know. I didn't know of them. I just seemed to be standing out way ahead of the class. So much so that I skipped 2nd grade, and after 1st, I'm in 3rd grade. Now, how did that happen? To this day, I don't know what could have warranted a school system to have a 1st grader pass into 3rd grade. I knew myself that might give me a little bit of a problem. I didn't miss a beat. I didn't miss a beat. I don't know what they taught in 2nd grade, but I made it up quick, whatever it was, because there I was in 3rd grade. And I can remember Mrs. Harrigan. Oh, she was such a wonderful teacher. And her classroom was on the side where you could look down. It was straight. It was like the school was built on a mountain. Of course it wasn't. It was built on a high hill. But it was just so nice. I loved her. I loved the class, and she liked me too. And I can remember being finished with tests, and we would take our tests up to Mrs. Harriman, and I was always the first one. I was always the first one. Anyway, I started to realize that people were noticing me a little bit. You know, they're noticing me a little bit. And I noticed that some kids are coming up to me and asking questions instead of going to the teacher. But that was okay, because I can't think of a time I didn't know the answer, but anyway, I knew the answer. And they were happy that they didn't have to go to the teacher. But there was one thing that was happening consistently that I was upset about. It had nothing to do with school, but it was what I was wearing to school. I was so embarrassed. My mother had the habit of putting on the same outfit on me 2 and 3 days in a row. Oh, I can remember. I hated that. I hated that. I think I only owned 3 outfits. It must have been, because no sooner did I realize that I'm right back in the same outfit again, and I'm wearing it again and again and again. Oh, jeez. I was so embarrassed. No one ever said anything about me wearing the same clothes. Thank God, no one. But I was embarrassed. I was really embarrassed. I didn't notice other kids were wearing the same clothes over and over again. They might have been. I think I would have taken notice, though, if they had. I really do. You know, I can remember being brave enough to show my mother I wasn't happy with wearing the same clothes all the time, but didn't change her. There I was. Of course, I missed 2nd grade. I know 3rd grade. I had different clothes, but what did I have? 3 outfits? 4 maybe? Ugh, got so sick of wearing the same clothes. And about that time, getting a little older now, I'm around 8. And I realize, again, there's something new in the house. All of a sudden, there's something new in the house. And all of a sudden, I'm doing a lot more things at home. Mom decided now all of a sudden I'm supposed to do all the work around the house. And I mean all the work. I can remember I would have to clean 2 flights of steps, and these were on the outside of our apartments. It was the hallway going from the 1st floor to the 2nd to the 3rd. Every other week it was my job, and I was down on my hands and knees, no rubber gloves. I'm in with my arms up to my elbows, getting soaking wet and cleaning these steps. I did that over and over and over again until we moved. Not only that, I can remember, I used to cry my eyes out. She started me on doing the family ironing. At first it wasn't too bad. You know, I kind of liked it. I kind of liked it. It was, it was fun to see wrinkled clothes be nice and straight and neat and have creases. But then I suddenly realized I'm doing a lot of ironing. I'm doing all the family ironing. And back then you ironed everything. I would spend hours and hours and hours at that ironing board. And God forbid if I made a mistake, she'd grab that shirt or whatever it was, dampen it, and I would have to iron that whole piece of clothing all over again. She couldn't just dab the piece that I, maybe didn't iron quite right with a little water. No, the whole garment had to be constantly wet. And then I had to do it again. It was bad enough in the winter, but in the springtime, when winter was over, I would know the day when I was going to iron. I'd start crying on the way home from school. I didn't want to iron. I wanted to go outside and play. The weather was nice. Birds were singing. Flowers are blooming. I'm active. I'm athletic. I've just learned how to play baseball. I'm doing things. I don't want to be stuck in the house ironing. And there I would get home, and there was that ironing board. And already closed a few things on the ironing board. I would stand there till it was dark time ironing. I would cry and cry and cry. I did that for quite a few years, hating every blessed minute of it. But yet I can remember my mother bragging to other members of the family. She does the family ironing. She does her father's work shirts. She does a fabulous job. Oh, great. I'm doing a great job at something that I've learned to hate. Cut me a break. I can remember she would give me a basket of dirty clothes, and off I was supposed to go to the laundromat. Now, what happened to our washing machine? I have no idea. I don't remember seeing it anymore. I guess it broke down. So off I would go. I don't know. I was young. But off I would go. It was a block down. And I instantly, when I got in there, it was like the hair went up on my neck. I just didn't like the place. And I didn't feel happy with the people that were there. I don't know. I just saw dirty people there, it seemed. I would hear them talking. I don't know. They would scare me a little bit. And of course, as soon as I could, after drying the clothes, I'd run back home. Running. I always remember it was raining. It seemed to rain an awful lot when I went to the laundromat. And I got in there, happy to have the clothes washed and dried. Of course, was my mother happy? No. Why didn't I fold the clothes? Why didn't I fold the clothes? I never answered her initially, but finally, after time and time again, fold the clothes. How many times I have to tell you? Fold the clothes. And I finally stepped up and I said, Mom. Yeah, I called her Mom. Mommy, Mom. The counters are dirty. They're filthy. I don't want to put the clothes on them. So finally, she let up on that. But I can remember going there time and time again. I also can remember going to the food store. She would send me off to the food store. Again, it wasn't that far away, but I did have to cross over a street. And there I was in the food store. I'm even buying meat. Never bought pig's meat, though. Never pig's feet. I never saw them even in the case. But there I was. I was always going to the supermarket. Then I had to help her with the dishes, drying the dishes. Well, that wasn't too bad. I didn't mind that too much. But then I had to clean my room every Saturday. And when I say clean, I mean clean. Every nook and cranny. Every place that a human being could touch had to be cleaned. I remember I had books on bookshelves. Every book had to be taken out. Every book. Because behind it had to be dusted. I would be hours in that room. Cleaning a room. That's something I didn't enjoy doing. I really did not enjoy doing. And then I found myself taking care of my brother a lot. Do this, do that, get this, get that. And then all of a sudden, do this for her, get this for her, do that for her. That little bundle of joy from God arrived. And if you want to know more about my baby sister, stay tuned. Bye.